On this occasion we flew by Delta Airlines from Boston, USA to Halifax, Nova Scotia. We embarked on a 400-mile anti-clockwise round trip, taking in the Evangeline Trail and the Lighthouse route. Our first hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn, is situated close to the airport and offers a good standard of relatively quiet accommodation and food at a reasonable price. Our next stop, Wolfville, is 50 miles from Halifax. With a population of 3,500 people, this university town attracts tourists who can stay in the old Victorian houses which have been converted into bed and breakfast accommodation. Ours was very comfortable and about a 15-minute walk into town. Wolfville is a good location to visit for sightseeing around the Minas Basin and the historic site of Grand Pré and the Greenwood Aviation Museum.
Behind me is the Minas Basin in the Bay of Fundy, the smallest harbour in the world according to Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Before the arrival of the first Canadian settlers, the Bay of Fundy's low-lying muddy tidal flats flooded twice daily. The Watu-style dike and sluice enabled Acadians to cultivate below sea level farmland. It was the Bay of Fundy's powerful tides that made the soil so rich. It promised the region considerable agricultural potential once the marshes were drained and the salt removed. Apples from the orchards of the fertile Annapolis Valley were exported to the seaport via the now closed Dominion Atlantic Railway. The Grand Pré National Historic Site charts the story of Acadie.
It was here in 1755 that the Acadians, who'd lived here in peace and tranquility, fishing and farming amongst the Indian tribesmen and the French settlers, were banished to the colonies by the British redcoats.
Longfellow's story of the young Acadian girl from Grand Pré, Evangeline, symbolises the perseverance of the Acadian people. The present-day memorial church was completed in 1930 and was funded by donations from Acadians across North America. The Greenwood Aviation Museum first opened its doors in May 1995. The statue of an airman marks the spot of a memorial to the squadrons that were based here. The museum houses several permanent exhibits, including a Neptune and one of the last remaining Lancasters. From Wolfville to our next stop, Digby, is approximately 87 miles. This countryside bed and breakfast inn has been welcoming guests since 1899. We were situated in the annex and found it a very comfortable, peaceful place to stay and chill out. Digby is ideally situated to visit Bear River, Port Royal and Annapolis Royal.
Nestled into a glacier valley 4 miles upriver from the Annapolis Basin is Bear River. The tide rises here more than 30 feet. This is the home to the Indian tribesmen, the Micmac.
Native Micmac people inhabited this scenic glacial valley many thousands of years ago before the arrival of the Europeans. The tidal river provided easy travel to the coast, where they harvested various fish and clams. The high river tides, 7 metres, combined with an abundance of easily accessible mature oak and various softwood trees, made shipbuilding and lumbering two very important profitable industries. Port Royal was originally established by Samuel de Champlain in 1605. This was France's first successful settlement in North America. Port Royal served as the capital of Acadia until its destruction by British military forces in 1613. Today this replica serves as a cornerstone of the Royal National Historic Sites of Canada. This sweeping view of the Annapolis Basin sets the scene for another old historic site. Fort Anne was designed to protect the harbour of Annapolis Royal. Our next stop, Yarmouth, is approximately 56 miles. Yarmouth Town is located in the heart of the world's largest lobster fishing grounds. Tourism has been a major industry here since the 1880s. In modern times, the high-speed cat sailed between Bar Harbor, USA and Yarmouth in 3 hours. Unfortunately, due to funding problems, this high-speed service is now closed. Yarmouth to Shelburne is approximately 61 miles. The Shelburne Waterfront Heritage District retains an aura of the 18th century. This magnificent memorial is a testament to the fishermen who have risked their lives over the centuries. Many of Shelburne's buildings date back to Loyalist times, including the County Museum. Our hotel was built in 1784 by the blind Loyalist merchant George Gracie. It was brought from Boston to Shelburne as a 2-story log cabin. The accommodation is compact but comfortable. The Dory Shop is where you can get a fascinating insight into the making of the famous Dory fishing boats. Our next stop is Liverpool, approximately 60 miles away. Liverpool, Nova Scotia, with its Mersey River, was founded by New England planters as a fishing port in 1759. The Rossignol Cultural Centre opened on July 20th, 2002. The museum houses collections of hunting, fishing and Micmac history. The Canadian photographer Sherman Hines is a patron of the museum and enjoys photographing outhouses. Outside are real-life examples of wigwams, outhouses and trappers' cabins. Hank Snow was born on May 9, 1914 in the sleepy fishing village of Brooklyn, just down the road from Liverpool. As a child, Hank used to hang out in this railway station, which is now a museum dedicated to country music. His professional career started at CHNS Radio in Halifax in 1933. He changed his name to Hank the Yodeling Ranger because it sounded more Western. Throughout the 30s and 40s he toured the Maritimes and Western Canada. From Liverpool to Lunenburg is approximately 43 miles. The Blue Nose Lodge is another comfortable Victorian inn situated a short walk from the town centre. On the waterfront, the Fisheries Museum of the Atlantic is a world-class museum complex. There are wharfside vessels to explore, a magnificent aquarium and 3 floors of exhibits. Lunenburg was established in 1753 as the first British colonial town outside of Halifax. In the late 1860s, the Shire town of Lunenburg had a bustling economy. The new town area became fashionable, and wealthy merchants and professionals built impressive houses here. About a half-hour drive from Lunenburg lies Mahon Bay.
Mahon Bay was founded over 250 years ago when the British encouraged the Swiss and the Germans to settle here.
This town is world famous for the 3 churches that can be seen at any angle. A short walk into the town and we come across an art gallery and museum. Lunenburg to Hubbard's Cove is approximately 34 miles. The Dauphiny Inn is a small comfortable hotel just down the road from the oldest dance hall in Nova Scotia called the Shore Club. It is quiet and comfortable. On the way to Halifax lies the famous Peggy's Cove. Today this place is primarily a tourist attraction, although its inhabitants still fish for lobster, and the community maintains a rustic, underdeveloped appearance. The original old wooden lighthouse was built in 1868. This later version used to contain a small post office. Peggy's Cove to Halifax is approximately 28 miles. The 4 Points Sheraton Hotel is in Hollis Street, just down the road from the harbour area. The Natural History Museum has collections of permanent exhibits on man and his environment in Nova Scotia. It is a place to learn about whales, dinosaurs, fossils, birds, exhibits of archaeology and Micmac culture. The Halifax Public Gardens are a 16-acre oasis. The gardens boast over 100 different species of trees, a bandstand and a magnificent wrought iron entrance. Signs of Halifax's maritime past are everywhere, including Canada's contribution to the Second World War. On D-Day, 14,000 Canadian soldiers were landed on Juno Beach. The town clock came from England in the 1800s and was made for the British Army and Royal Naval garrisons. There is another old clock in front of the ferry terminal. This came from London in 1767 and was originally in the naval yard. This replica boat passes St George's Island. In 1755, every Acadian in this area was deported here. The harbour area is now a more peaceful affair, geared to tourism. This concludes our trip, and we return the way we came, back to Boston before going onward to the UK.